Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Widener Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Widener Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Widener Show, international war-winning author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Widener Show can be heard on the MikeWidenerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Widener Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. And heard worldwide, Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Widener Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Widener Show on the YouTube channel. And follow the Mike Widener Show on Instagram and Twitter today for great gift ideas. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Widener Show for T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw pillows, tote bags, and more. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Widener Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including great books by me and Molson-Zia and more for T-shirts, hoodies, and a lot more gear, go to Amazon.com and check out the Me and Molson-Zia store. And we also take donations as well, too. Go to the MikeWidenerShow.com and show your support, along with Anchor FM/support and PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who basically is he's a former NFL defensive end of 11 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts, the San Diego Chargers 3 times, and the Green Bay Packers. Of course, we display as well, too. Yeah. Once a Packer, always a Packer. Also, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Buffalo Bills. And he was a coach over at UC Florida and played college at Syracuse and drafted in the 2nd round by the Indianapolis Colts. And he was born with a cleft palate and later grew tumors in both ears and diagnosed with brain tumor in 16, had numerous surgeries. And he's traveled around with hand combat for football and also the voice of strength and numerous outreach programs. And he's also a motivational speaker. And this guy just has an amazing story. This guy's a blaze of glory. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios, somewhere in the United States. He's traveled all over, and he's just an amazing guy. And if you've watched him play, this guy's so intense. Ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented NFL defensive end, and he also won a championship ring, Blaise Winter. Blaise, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Mike, it's great to be with you. I am very happy that we decided to do this with each other and, share some stories and, well, hopefully we'll be able to complete each and every thought.
Yes, that's right, too. And of course, reached out to Instagram as well, too. And I looked and I said, we got to have this guy on, and just an amazing story. And I'd love to hear about your amazing stories. And I forgot to mention, you also have a book out, too, called A Reason to Believe. We'll talk more about that. And basically, into motivation, you played NFL football for 11 seasons. You went to college at Syracuse. You got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts in the 2nd round. You played 3 times with the San Diego Chargers, the Green Bay Packers from 1988 to 1991. You've got some great stories. You also played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 94. And you also played for the Buffalo Bills in 95. And you also were a coach at UC Florida. And you also travel around the country and, being a motivational speaker. And before getting to all that, Blaise, tell us how it first got started.
What's that, my man?
I said, tell us how you first got started.
Well, for me, the story starts with, the coming to terms with, things that I never wanted when I was a child. Being born with what I term a hole in my face is not fun. People point it out quite often, and even though you have it surgically repaired, you're left with a lot of damage. And again, I'm not looking for anybody to play a violin for me. It's not about feeling sorry for yourself. It's about understanding the value of adversity. I mean, that is the message. It's understanding that we need to look into and seize the moment of a challenging situation so that we come out of it with a better perspective on what other people are going through, and put it to the test of our faith, and we got our children with it. So for me, adversity started with, having a hole in the middle of my face, and having to repair that, and in the roof of my mouth, and create one, and then go to speech therapy and have people ridicule you daily. What happens is later on, you realize who was loyal and trustworthy. And those people are really, to this day, the people I honor in my life. My mother has passed away, but she believed that the good Lord never creates garbage.
Exactly.
I felt that way as a child. I felt that way quite easily because of how my peers saw me and hurt me. My great-grandmother, there wasn't a lot to the story, but she would put her hand under my chin and pull it up and just tell me, keep your chin up, God loves you. And she was consistent with that message. My mother was consistent with her message. And those two ladies gave me an awful lot of direction and wisdom that I'm forever grateful for, because you fast forward, adversity is the greatest gift in my life. And I've learned to know that. And do I cry over spilled milk? Yeah, sometimes. But I've really learned to ask myself privately, what am I supposed to do with this?
Exactly.
Most of the time I lead with it. I lead others with it. I don't look to fight others unless the fight is worth it. I don't look to blame others. I don't look to point the finger. I don't look to grab an instrument and play my poor, pitiful song. And the reason I say it that way is all the crap going on right now is embarrassing, because adversity is a gift. If things aren't right, make them right through your action, your consistent action each and every day. I mean, this is a message not only for the youth, this is a message for all of us, because we all get tired, we all get frustrated, we all feel like sometimes life is unfair, and we have to go back to those roots of, in my life, that, wait a minute, man, what am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to self-destruct and kill a few other people because I feel bad about my situation? Or, 900 years ago, I was whipped into doing something I don't want to do? Come on, man. I mean, it's really about rubbing a little life into it. I fight to remember things each and every day. I fight to do my ABC drills in my mind so I don't lose my mind completely. I fight to move my body even though it doesn't want to move because it's hurt. But rather than point the blame at everybody, I'm going to keep trying to do something. And if I need help, I ask my brothers, I ask the NFL community, I ask people to say, hey, man, help me. I ask my beautiful wife right behind me. So, it's really giving tribute to where it all started and really identifying defining moments along the way that you build your foundation off of, right? You do the same thing, Mike, don't you?
Of course we do. We do it all the time in our careers as well, too, with you being 11 seasons in the NFL with the teams, as we mentioned. Of course, myself, I've been in radio since 1982. We've had our ups and downs, whatever else. I've been doing this show since 2018 with 800 great guests, including yourself. And I'll tell you one thing, everybody in social media, they portray everything is so easy. Like getting the NFL is easy. Getting in the NBA is a breeze, or NHL, or Major League Baseball, or what I do, they think is easy. But when they experience it, a lot of people get disappointed. It's like it's hard and they walk away. And I think the one thing that people are forgetting is that there's like lack of determination out there. And it's like we need to really get that back and going. If you're really passionate about it, you really need to work on it, not just be handed on a silver spoon.
Well, Ken, it's understanding how to interpret adversity, and it's also understanding how to push away handouts. I mean, young people want handouts, and they've been programmed to want handouts more often than ever before. And even in the NFL, you see it. And those should be pushed away. And people say, well, what do you mean pushing away? Hey, man, if you have earned it, push it away, because you're going to take it for granted. You're going to take that gift for granted, and you're going to really, really not get the most out of it because you just never earned it. I mean, look at the amount of people that are just, life is not fair, and all right, here's your another check. Here's another this. Here's another that. I mean, all right, I'm helping you, but there's a point of hurting someone if you don't get them dirty in the process. I mean, That's how I was raised, is that, hey, man, you work hard. That word is so like, don't mention that word. Don't mention that word. Yes, I'm going to mention it because it's the foundation of what you become. If you outwork someone, you'll get what you want. You'll get freedom. You'll get your right to speak. You'll get what people looking at you and admiring you. Don't give me that garbage that it's too hard. I don't want to work. No, man, you'll get what you want if you persevere and outlast a competition. And 99% of the people won't do it. They will outlast the competition. Well, right here, I did. I did, and I'm one of the worst athletes in the world. I'm one of the least talented people in the world. I was born with a hole in my face. I had a disability. And you know what? I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm a football player, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a man. I'm a man, and I don't want to be a woman. I don't want to be somebody else. I am totally at peace with who I am, all right, because I've embraced adversity and I've pushed away handouts that I haven't earned until I earn them, and then I know how to handle them as a gift, as a reason to go further. That's my little world, man. I know people would say you're way over the top. Hey, man, I'm old, and I don't need to put up with you telling me that, hey, man, just shut up, you're hurting our cause. No, I'm not hurting anybody's cause.
Exactly, too. And, of course, you played 11 seasons as well, too, with the Indianapolis Colts. You started in 84. And, tell us about it's like, you had a brief stint, but what was it like, being with the Colts?
Well, before the Colts, remember I walked out at Syracuse University. I learned how to become a football player a little bit of high school. It was my voice without having one. And then I found a way to walk on at Syracuse University. I wasn't recruited. I wasn't recruited by anybody. And so I found a way to walk on. I gained the scholarship. I was coached by George O'Leary, one of the best coaches that taught me some of the things that I just shared with you. And I brought my mother and my great-grandmother's perspective forward, along with now the great coach and the great players that I played with at Syracuse. And I found my value going way up. I mean, I worked hard. I came in at 215 pounds, left college at 265 pounds. I came into college as a walk-on, left a scholarship MVP athlete. I came in as a walk-on, and I left Syracuse University as a scholarship athlete, MVP, captain of the football team, drafted 35th in the world into the National Football League. Tell me it's impossible. No, it's not impossible. It's about outlasting other people. It's about determination, blood and guts. And then I got the greatest call in the world by the Colts that, hey, you want to play for us? And there it went, man. My dream came true of becoming a NFL player, and it was continuation of a dream and of a lot of work, a lot of work to keep going forward and to last for 11 years.
Mm. And that's amazing too. You also played for the San Diego Chargers 3 times as well too. And what was it like playing for the Chargers, especially like 3 times as well too? It's like, I mean, San Diego just loves you.
You know, I went from Indianapolis. We had 3 head coaches we had 3 head coaches in 3 years. That's how bad the organization was before Mr. Irsay handed it over to his son and Bill Polian. Then it turned into what? We're going to draft Peyton Manning, and everything became a lot better. But when I was there, it was not very good. So after those 3 years of struggling through, having a great first year, I mean, AFC defensive first team, my rookie year.
Amazing,
okay.
yes.
It's a Cinderella story. That's why there was a book written later on. But anyway, then I would end up going from Indianapolis to San Diego and end up with a lot of old people. Now you might say, what do you mean old people? Dan Fouts, Joyner, Winslow, Masick, unbelievable. I hope I'm not losing you here. Oh,
No. You're good. I remember in the 87, you talk about Fouts, Joyner, and all those guys. And I think they were kind of like at the tail end.
I was a young pump now going there. And I knew nothing about the city. I mean, San Diego was gorgeous. I just saw a bunch of guys that were sitting smoking cigarettes in the locker room at the end of their careers. I mean, yeah, gray hair. They were gray hair. I mean, they were old. I mean, again, I know how it feels when you're at your 11th year and then the rookies look at you like, man, you're old, aren't you? Well, I was looking at them as a younger player, and those guys were like legends. I'm not growing up, man. And I was playing with them, and they were terrible on defense. If we remember the old Charger team in San Diego, it was score 45 points and give up 48.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Terrible defense. And I was a defensive player about to help them. Well, I mean, the whole coaching staff, Don Coryell and company, they all left. And there was being sent at that point to where? Green Bay. I mean,
yes, that's right. And I'm paying homage to your favorite team as well, too. One of my favorites, yes. Yeah, 1988 to 91, Don Makowski, the Magic Man. I remember that. The Magic Man, yes.
And then you go to the frozen tundra, and it's mind-blowing how frozen tundra, what is this? The stadium, it's sitting in the middle of nowhere. It's like the most amazing place I've ever seen for football. It is truly the most amazing place. And they would come out and they would fill that stadium, and they would fill the parking lot, and they would fill the streets with their coats and their hats and their sleds and their snowmobiles and their it was mind-blowing that what am I doing? But it was perfect for me. It was just like the field was grass. It was muddy and cold, and it was perfect. It was Blaise Winter, and no pun intended on my name. Because it was an amazing turn of events because it really, again, it really was a changing point in my career, because a lot of people were whispering, maybe you can't do this. I'm with a couple different teams. I'm not really, I play and then I don't play, and I play and I don't play. And now all of a sudden I'm there, and forever grateful of great Blaise, D-line coach. And he said, well, what are you doing here? And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean, what am I doing here? I'm playing for you, the Packers. And I said, yeah, but why? I said, because the Chargers traded me here. Yeah, but why? And I said, I don't understand what you want. And he says, you're too good to be here. Why are you here? And I had not heard that in so many years. And I'm like, thank you. And he says, stop beating yourself up.
I sometimes get that too, and I hear people say all the time, oh, you're too good to be here. Why? Because you're brought for a reason. I think people need to understand that more. It's like they say you're too good. It's like, why? It's like you're brought here for a reason. There's always a reason for everything. And you're right, there's always a reason.
Amen. I believe that in all my heart at the age I'm at now, and all these defining moments. And he said to me this, he said, on the football field, after this crazy start of a conversation with a new coach, after seeing me for a few weeks, will you do me a favor, he said to me. And defining moment, another one, will you stop beating yourself up and just enjoy playing this game? And if you do that, I won't be sending you home. I can guarantee you right now, we need you here. And I want you to play, but I want you to stop questioning if you're good enough. Well, I am good enough. No, I know what I see, and I know why you're here. You're here because you let people get to you. And later on that same year, the coach that was behind my getting sort of thrown out of San Diego, not Coryell, but a positional coach, says to me, says to great Blaise, how did you get him to play so well? And he really refused to really answer it. He just pointed to the name Blaise Winter and said, he figured it out. I lasted and played there for a number of years, and it was a really amazing time in life. I got engaged to my best friend that I'm still with, and married her, and it was just an amazing journey that I had. I had a feeling of comfort for a few years, and I was in the right environment. It's a wonderful place to play football. It's not what some players think to be, where's Hollywood? Where's New York?
Oh yeah.
Football from the ground up. You want it from the heart out. You want it from, November afternoon, when nobody hesitated to come out and watch you, when it's maybe 20 degrees or 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing place, and I enjoyed my time there with Robert Brown and Brian Noble, and a lot of great guys.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great guys, and Don Mikowski was in there, and Sterling Sharp.
Sterling Sharp, one of my favorites. And don't forget Tim Harris. He was, I think he was like the NFL leader in sacks. I remember he had like 13 and a half sacks that year, and you're like second on the team, like 5. I'm like, wow, it's like they're fairly dominant then.
You know what? It is rather amazing that you have coaches that impose their will, and those coaches can become very successful if they find a player that reacts to that. And they have coaches that impose their will, and the players don't do what they do, so the coach attacks. I believe the great coaches adapt, and they understand that, hey, how can I get this guy to go further? And I think business people or even people that, your own children, you learn to sort of look at them and adapt to, hey, man, this method won't work. Maybe this method will.
Mm-hmm.
And, I learned those things from great coaches like, Blaise and O'Leary and many, many others.
Mm-hmm. And of course, too, people are programmed different as well, too. Some need to get yelled at, some need to be coddled, some are just like, hey, leave them alone. So it's like everybody is programmed different. And I kind of hate to say, it's like, it seems like with the media these days is forcing everyone to like be the same. That's a problem.
Yeah, my man, I have enough people that probably don't like me because of the fact that I just don't like what I see outside these windows. Not my neighborhood, down the street, just the behaviors of some people and some professional players. A lot of us that are old timers just don't like what we see going on with individual players. And a lot of times we just don't like even what's going on with the coaches that are so careful that they don't offend anyone.
Oh, like too meticulous. You're right.
They're really cautious, and they're more X and O's people that just sort of do their business and let the players figure it out on their own. Well, I think coaches, are very important to establishing proper correction in the player at the critical times. And at times, I think there are coaches that are just playing, and they won't admit it, but I know they're afraid. They're intimidated by the current politics, and they tiptoe around issues when the old school, like Blaise, I knew when I was doing something wrong, and I knew when I was doing something right. It was communication from a school that a lot of young people won't even understand what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
The communication came from one voice to another, and inflection and tone and the eye contact. I mean, you ever been around people that just sort of stand your hair up or make you feel so right that you just break down because you're so madly in love with them that they just melt your heart, and they do it by their look and their touch and their patience with you. And I know these are things that we talk about, but we're not hearing much about anymore because it's just not, it's not the bullet and the gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a very emotional, romantic person about my life, about the journey I'm on, and about the hills and valleys I've been through. And maybe there's one kid or one guy or girl out there that just will keep fighting, marching. My creed I live by. FIW, fight I will. It's just, this is what I get up in the morning thinking to myself, this is what I go to bed before I fall asleep with FIW. And
Mm-hmm.
it's fight I will because I have to have a creed to get through my day. And I have to call upon that and trust in it. And I do that, and I try to encourage people to write their own little creed, and that they will they will live by. They will raise their right hand and tell the truth about living by it. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always been that way.
And certainly amazing as well, too. We'll talk about the rest of the teams you've been with, especially San Diego, second, third time around, Tampa Bay, and also the Buffalo Bills. And you also have coached at University of Central Florida. We'll talk about those in a minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and evil often enjoyed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forge Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon. Don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple Music. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today, and check out the merchandise at the Mike Wagner Show podcast on Amazon. And for more great gift ideas, including great books by Mia Molson-Zia, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mia Molson-Zia store. And don't forget to give generously on the MikeWagnerShow.com, as well as Anchor FM/support and PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the former NFL defensive end of 11 seasons, Blaise Winter, here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about his amazing football career. And, there's 2 other teams that we can get to talk about. I know you've been, San Diego loves you the second, third time around, but also you were with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and also the Buffalo Bills, and, touch on those as well.
Well, Tampa was a very short stay. I thought it was going to be something good for me. I went there because of free agency, and I did something I normally don't do, and I chased money. I thought, hey man, if how many more years will I get a chance to have a signing bonus? And so I went there with high hopes when Sam Weiss was the coach there, and Floyd Peters was the DC, who was legendary for the Vikings when he used to run the Viking defense. So I arrived there, and first I had a fallout with Floyd because I really could not understand what, again, he was trying to get from me. And rather be smart about going there for the right reason. How do I fit into their plans? I went there, like I said, for the wrong reason, to get money. And I should have known better. But anyway, to make a long story short, had a fallout with Floyd because Floyd said, how did you make it at that point for 9 years? I think it was 9 years. How did you make it? And I said to him, what do you mean? And he said, you're really not very good. And I said, well, wait a minute. What is your problem? I'm practicing hard. I told you I'm a quarter horse. I'm not a thoroughbred. I'm a quarter horse, not a thoroughbred. I will work hard. I'll keep working while you're going to have to take the other horses out to what? Get some grass. Because I won't need my grass until what? I'm done with my job. I'm a quarter horse. And he said, well, I really thought you could fit in. I said, no, get rid of me. That afternoon, I'm in front of Sam Weiss, and he said, Blaise, yeah, you don't really fit. And I said to him, no, I don't fit here where you have one coach in Floyd Peters bringing out a bout team on how defensive players could take out offensive players, listen to this, Mike, on the same team. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, I've heard you say to players on your offense, don't let them do it. If you do it the right way, I'll slap 20 in your hand.
Really?
I've heard it from both sides. And Floyd Peters, he said, he asked me, what do you mean? I said, Floyd Peters is in the locker room saying, if you dare to let these guys get away with this, and this, without putting him out for the year, I will make sure you're not on this team. And I'm like, what is your problem?
Right.
It was the most dysfunctional environment I've ever heard in my life. Floyd
Wow.
nuts, doing his crazy stuff. Sam was an egocentric nut. And I was just in the middle saying, I can't survive in this place.
Wow.
But I end up back with San Diego, where I never wanted to leave anyway, with Bobby Ross.
Wow. I was going to get to the thing about Sam White and then having Floyd Peters. It sounds like the organization is trying to throw everything in a mix, almost like a potpourri. It's like, grab this guy. He's great. Grab this guy. And it's like, it turns out to be like a potion went, just exploded.
What they tried to do is rile people. They tried to get people to become tougher by doing crazy things for the sake of doing crazy things. You see, veterans don't buy into that garbage. Veterans don't, and that I'm around for a lot of years, and I'm like, I know who I am, I know what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just trying to play this game because they had every day there were massive amounts of fights on the football field during double sessions.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, and they would the coaches would egg them on. And I would just stand there and I'm like, oh man, because I have come from an environment that was so much different. And you might say, well, did they win? Oh no, man, they didn't win. He was fired. Tampa went on to who was the next one up? Tony Dungy or other coach. Anyway, it was not a good organization for many, many more years.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you win games. And I just was so surprised at the way they behaved. And some other veteran players were also. But anyway, I end up back with Bobby Ross, which is the consummate, is how you say it, consummate professional. He was the most, he's one of the most amazing human beings on the face of earth, Bobby Ross. And I'm forever grateful that he saw my value and he said, come on home. We should have never let you go in the first place. And the general manager there was Bobby Beathard.
I was just going to say, Bobby Beathard, he was like one of the best GMs in the business, practically.
Well, he put together a pretty darn good team that eventually won. We went to a Super Bowl and lost to the 49ers.
I remember that. Yeah, Junior Seau, I think, he was like, what was he like, rookie, second, third year or something, and Stan Humphries was the quarterback? I mean, oh my gosh, you know something? I got a great story to tell about Stan Humphries. I remember watching, he was like 6'7", 6'8", all these running quarterbacks, he's scrambling and all that, and here's Stan Humphries, he'd be like just backed up throwing, and here's like maybe 6, 7, 8 guys, they had difficulty bringing him down. It's like a redwood, and he still throws a touchdown pass. 6, 7, 8 guys all over him, and he'll still throw a touchdown pass. I'm like, this is great.
Well, if you remember, we were primarily a running team. We had the old school had Marion Butts, but we had Natron Means.
I remember that. Yes.
A 6'1", 6-foot guy, 270, 260.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, downhill runner. And we had no real, we had Anthony Miller, one receiver. We had Roddy Harmon. I mean, it was all about running the ball. And then we had a defense that was number 1 in the league against the run, number 3 against the pass. And I was a part of starting on that defense. And we had Junior Seau right behind me. And we had Leslie O'Neal on one side out of our Arkansas first rounder. We had Bert Grossman on the other side, first rounder out of Pittsburgh. Me in the middle, along with Sean Lee and George Thornton, just journeymen. But it was with Junior behind us. It was a nasty defense, man. We ran around and we did things and we won games and. We wish you could have, finished it in the Super Bowl, but we were not ready to match up with Steve Young and the 49ers.
I remember that. Yeah, Steve Young, he took over for Joe Montana, and he led them to promised land, then hand the reins over to Steve Bono, and, got them to the playoffs. I remember Steve Young, like, oh my gosh, it was like a younger version of Joe Montana out there.
And he could run. And he was one of the first guys that could just fly out of the pocket that you had to be aware of. And that would hurt you when you had Rice, you had Taylor, you had the Waters behind it. He had so many weapons and a great offensive line. I mean, you know, that team was literally the best that year. It wasn't us. They were the best team without question. And he could take off. And now almost all the quarterbacks, move around some. I think it ebbs and flows. I think you'll see, you know, some personnel people feel what, you know, we'll win with that guy that can run. I still believe the greatest quarterbacks they know how to elude and buy time. They run all right, but they don't have to run all the way to the end zone. I mean, they're just smart about where everybody is. Those guys are still, to me, the best to have behind, you know, under or behind the center. And I think, you know, when you talk about getting all the way to a Super Bowl, it's very important to have a guy at that position that has those skills more than, I'm a great athlete, I can run. Well, man, can you pass? Can you think through a scenario?
Or can you block or help the other guy out? That's another thing. Can you help the other guy out?
Well said. Yeah, very, very true. And from my standpoint, Stan Humphrey was that guy who was smart. He was not, like you said, mobile. He was actually, you see him, you know, in the locker room without clothes on. It's like, you're not a football player, are you? He was the most, like, he was a wreck. He was just just physically, like, man, you got to put down the donuts, man. You got to stop. I mean, it was just white sugar body fat. I mean, but he had an arm and he was smart. And
oh, no question.
And you know, I mean, hey, we went a long way with him, and you know, we lost a lot of players from that NFL team. A lot of players from that NFL team. I don't know if people know, we lost to date 12 players from that Super Bowl team in '94. Can you believe that?
Oh my goodness!
Obviously, Julius Seau and I mean many others. It's just amazing how many guys we lost to that team, and in weird ways. But I'm forever grateful to, you know, Coach Ross and the staff and the city of San Diego. And I mean, it was a great. It was wasn't it, Ed? It was great. My wife is over there, and it was great. It was a great
and if your wife wants to join in, so feel free to do so as well too. It's like, hey, come on over here. And then the last stop before going over to UC Florida as a coach, you play for the Buffalo Bills for a little bit and be on their roster, and tell us your brief experience about the Bills.
After I was done in San Diego, and they said, Blaise, you've had enough. You know, a few months later, you had that, what do you call it, Mike? That desire to try it one more time. And believe it or not,
it's like, you know, get the last drop. I know that feeling. It's like, I've been a victim myself. It's like, come on, one more, please, one more.
Ken, what did I say earlier? We were year-round football players. We weren't seasonal football players, and then we call the Caribbean for 4 months. We were football players, so that meant what? It's who I am. And even though, no, it's not who I am. I was part of football, and it wasn't my identity. I learned that later, and I learned that from Greg Blaise also. That, hey man, you know, you're a part of this game. You're Blaise Winter who plays football, and you know, football's not you. And anyway, I lost my train of thought, but what was I saying? Tampa Bay was no, not Tampa.
Buffalo. Buffalo, yeah, Buffalo. So I'm sure you don't want to talk about Tampa Bay, and neither do I. And I'm like, encouraging a team to play dirty, it's like, yeah, that's bad. Trying to be Oakland Raiders, forget it. But Buffalo, I'm sure it's like another story.
But Buffalo, after I had tried, believe it or not, out for Green Bay, and they said, Blaise, you know what, you're shot. And even, who was the GM at that time? Help me out here. Ron.
95, are you talking Green Bay 95? Mike Holmgren?
Yes, I'm sorry. Mike Holmgren. Who was the general manager there?
95 Green Bay, that was Ron Wolf.
Thank you. I was right. Ron Wolf. Anyway, Ron Wolf brought me in, believe it or not, in 1996 and said, hey, man, let's see if you can still play. And he saw me run. Not that I run very well anyway. And he saw me run. He says, your knee is garbage, nothing left. And I said, well, I've had 8 surgeries on it. And he says, I can see that. Blaise, you're hobbling when you run. And I said, well, I can still play though, in my stance, first couple steps. And he said, man, I'll let you know if I love the toughness, but I can't do it right now. And then Ron told me that. And I said, I understand. He's always been real nice to me. And then they brought me to Buffalo. Somehow I passed the physical. They signed me as a backup to be a reserve emergency veteran backup to guys like Smith and Phil Henson and Wright. I mean, they had a hell of a team.
Oh, no question. I mean, Phil Hansen is one of the best of the bunch. Bruce Smith, obviously, number 1, but Hansen, number 2. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable player. Oh, from being up there in the Dakota country, Phil was one of the best players in the league. And anyway, Marv Levy, there's another one. Bobby Ross, Marv Levy. He comes up to me and said, Blaise, you're having a hard time moving, aren't you? And I said, my knee. And what I was trying to do at night in my dorm room during double sessions was drain my own knee. Now, when doctors hear that and people that don't know what I mean, do know what I mean, hear that, they say, what? And I was trying to get the blood out of my knee because it would swell up. And I would do it on my own because if I reported it to a trainer, they put me on injured reserve. And so I was trying to be smart by having a wrap around it and just sort of walking around. And so the trainer said to me, what are you doing to your knee? And he took the wrap off and saw the blood and stuff. And he says, who put the hole in your knee? And I said, I did. What are you doing? You want to lose your leg? And I said, I don't want you to know or anybody else. Blaise, your knee is shot, man. And he told Marv Levy, and Marv came up and said, Blaise, I love you. I signed you because I love who you are. You're one of those guys that just never stops, and you're good around the guys. We need guys you around the other players. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you on IR. We're going to pay you, but I want you to stay.
Nice.
Be that guy who observes and coaches from a distance, and I want you to be shy. So I did that my last year with him, and he was one of the kindest, encouraging human beings I've ever met in my life. It wasn't edgy. Marv Levy was one of the best people. I love him to this day. I was at an award he received at AFCA a few years ago, the Stay Award. He's one of the classiest, smartest, well-versed human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And I'm glad my career ended with him because he poetically knew how to get me to disengage and let go of something that I was attached to since I was a kid. So,
and playing football. And this led you to a coaching career, and you end up at UCF.
first went out on the tour doing the motivational stuff because people in Wisconsin wanted to know what I was all about. I was always considered a true life Rocky story, so people are curious. I had written a book called A Reason to Believe that came out right after I was in the Super Bowl, coming out afterwards, and I thought, maybe I'll share my thoughts, and it turned into a 12-year, 125 talks a year career. And I still had football, so understand there was about a 12 to 15-year window where I did motivational talks. I mean, you're talking about over 15, almost 2,000 talks, corporate, schools, youth, everything, from North Coast to West Coast, East, everywhere. I mean, it was an amazing, and it started through word of mouth from Wisconsin. And, but I had to, at the end of that, I was getting a little stale, and I missed football. You hear about it all the time. So I missed it. So I got a chance to go to UCF and coach with George O'Leary.
George O'Leary, that's right.
Amazing college coach. And I, survived down there until I lost my mind. I just could not keep my thoughts together. And I'm sorry, I've slipped a few times tonight.
No, don't worry. It's perfectly okay. It's like, I enjoy having you on the Mike Widener Show. I mean, you're just an amazing wealth of knowledge. It's amazing. I love hearing your stories. I love them.
I'm amazed. I remember football. I seem to remember more than other things, but I had a brain tumor. I was getting headaches.
Oh, yes.
I just, George says, "What's wrong?" George noticed it first at work. He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm just, I have a headache." And I, I was working a lot of hours. Division I coaches work a lot of hours, and I was working a lot of hours, and it was on somebody else's watch. It wasn't on mine. So he's the first one to point it out, and he said, "Go take care of your health." So I left, and they discovered a brain tumor in the middle of my brain.
Ooh.
And about a year and a half after that, we were trying to manage it. They removed it a year and a half later through my nose. I know. Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. I know the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. Dr. Quiones, Dr. Q is what we call him. He went through my nose, and he followed this thing with this probe that was paper thin, and
okay, we appear to have lost Blaise Winter here, so we're on with the Mike Widener Show with Blaise Winter here, and talking about his amazing career. So, Blaise, are you still with us? Blaise, are you still with us? All right, we're going to try to reconnect Blaise in just 1 minute. Just a reminder, you're listening to the Mike Widener Show at the MikeWidenerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Widener Show, international warring author Mia Molson's You Have Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. And don't forget to check out the Mike Widener Show over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Take the Mike Widener Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Widener Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Widener Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And we're going to reconnect with Blaise Winter in a few minutes right here on the Mike Widener Show. All right, we're back with Blaise Winter, former NFL defensive end and 11-year veteran here on the Mike Widener Show. We had some technical difficulties, and we're back on right now. And, of course, the time you were at UCF as the defensive coach as well, too. And you also talked about the brain tumor, and you had a probe going through your nose until we had some technical difficulty. You can just resume your story.
Probably better than we did.
I bet those bugs are like, don't tell that story. It's like, come on, determination. It's like, Zoom, don't cut us out. No, no. There you go. Yeah, that works better. Short story.
I was going to get way too graphic and intense. I was looking for a piece of wire or something, but it's amazing. It's amazing what they do up there. That he saved my life. It was tough. I ended up coming out of surgery, believe it or not, and came down with, ready for this, spinal meningitis.
Ooh.
I had a brain tumor. I come down with spinal meningitis, and anybody who's smart knows that the chances of surviving that is really not even 1%.
Wow.
So they cold blew me a few times to start me back up. I wake up through 3 weeks later, and I'm here now on the show with you. It is a really amazing story because you go through all this and you really don't know what you go through until you listen to the people that love you so much. And my wife never left my side. She stayed and slept in that room on the window ledge literally for weeks. And she saw all these things, like when they had to start me back up, when they had to, they were planning on moving me to a assisted care. I was really on the way out, and I'm here, and I work pretty well. I mean, it's a struggle at times to get all the thoughts, but the doctor made me aware that you've had a lot of injuries, and football has done a lot of things to you, but the brain tumor was a separate thing that happens in some people's lives, and I immediately said, "Oh, football." And no, this is really just a separate issue. And well, why? We'll never know why, but it may have been growing there for 40 years. We have no idea. But I'm in remission, or whatever that word is called. I'm out of harm's way, and he'll keep an eye on me, and life is good. We'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be all right.
And of course, you're also here for good reason as well, too, that you became a public speaker, motivational, and also leading expert at hand combat for football. But you also brought up an interesting point, your book called A Reason to Believe, and, talk more about that. And if you have a copy with you and show it to, it's like, that would be greatly appreciated. It's
it is really, really old. I do have, hold on, click. I do have one. It is really old, really old. I'm talking about this was published around the time of the Super Bowl in '95.
Oh wow! But I'm sure it's still a good book, though.
People buy it, believe it or not, on Amazon and eBay, and they're out there. I'm proud of what I wrote with Bill Kushner. Mm-hmm. Now people always say, "Well, who was Bill Kushner? Why was he the co-writer?" Well, he was best known for They Call Me the Assassin, the Jack Tatum story.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, Jack Tatum story. That's where he came in and, he went like this to Daryl Stingley. Ball came out, paralyzed. And that was like the whole beginning of be careful out there. I remember Daryl Stingley was at a Chicago Bulls game, and we were encouraged. Like, my dad said, go out there and get an autograph. And we talked to a guy and signed like this and says, he was this amazing guy, but I just hated to see somebody get paralyzed like that. Wife, kids, and all that. Wow.
Football's a violent game, and people do get hurt. We're trying to get it to be a better, more efficient game. That's one of the reasons I teach what I teach, is try to make athletes more efficient and know how to get the job done without putting themselves in harm's way as much. You're still going to have some of that, unfortunately, but hopefully efficient training with proper techniques will make for a safer, more efficient, more productive athlete in a safer way. But anyway, Bill Kushner co-wrote this with me after discovery through a newspaper article in San Diego. Who's this Rocky Rocky guy playing for the Chargers. And so he approached me and said, would you ever think about writing a book? And I said, me? Me? I mean, yeah, like a Rocky Blyer type story.
Oh, Rocky Blyer, yeah, from Appleton, Wisconsin. He was like second banana to Franco Harris, but he was just as efficient and amazing to Franco Harris. I remember that.
Well, Mikey, I'm not. I ain't Rocky. You know, I'm Blaise Winter, man. I'm just. You sure you want to write about me? And he said, you know, man, you're a fan favorite in this area, and people love you. The Chargers are going to the Super Bowl, and you should have a book. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure, why not? How much it'll cost me? He said, no, it won't cost you anything. Maybe one day you'll make a little money on it. But I really didn't care. I just thought, man, look, Blaise Winter. I have a book. That's amazing, man. I mean, only, superstars have books and written by other people. And it's an amazing story. And I'm forever grateful to Bill. He has since passed away, but I'm forever grateful to, all the great people in my life. I mean, I am really a lucky man to have the O'Learys and my mother and my great-grandmother and my grandparents that were at Broadway that taught me how to be more than just somebody that could punch someone.
Mm-hmm.
And just even my father, through his rage and fury, that I would, grow to understand the different perspective, because he was the hardest working man I've ever seen in my life, to a point where it was uncomfortable when he was home, because he worked so much and he was so tired. When he came home, he was just not always real nice. And later on, when you're finally able to sit and quietly think about why was he this way, do you understand a lot more about him as a person that when you're a child, you don't. You just don't.
Exactly. You never think about those things. There's always toys and games and playing with the neighborhood kids back in the day.
There's so many people I pray to and pray for each and every night. I'm forever grateful to so many people in my life, and it keeps me going forward. It really does. My teammates, I played at Syracuse with Tim Green, and you held up a book, and you should get Tim Green on your show. Tim Green is a best-selling author, played 8 years with the Atlanta Falcons. I played with him at Syracuse University. He has his law degree. He is a brilliant human being who is currently suffering from ALS. And he has written, 39 books.
Wow.
And most of those are bestsellers. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is I saw you hold up a really interesting book. And, it looked very interesting. I'm not sure what it's about, but Tim Green has some amazing books that I played with him. And I'm forever grateful for Billy Pendot, who played with me also, and Jamie Kimmel, and a lot of people, man. Forever blessed.
And of course, it's great to have you on the show as well, too. If you want to find out more about the book, I can read from the back that, he's had his share of despair, wife perished in 9/11, only daughter died of rare disease, and then finds solace in a person who, chats online. Like I said, go four countries, 2 strangers, 1 target. We encourage you to check out the book as well, too, Missing by Me, Molson Zia. It's available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. And I had a few people come to me and say, hey, you should write a book. And my wife tells me all the time, Michael, you should be writing stuff down. And I'm like, most important lesson, listen to your wife always. That's the number one thing. Always listen to your wife. So I think I'm ready to write a book myself. And I think you're going to help me, too. So
I love her, man. Mine is my best friend, man. She's saved me more times than you can believe, and most of the time she's with me now, so I can make sure I get home at night. And find my way around the neighborhood. I'm so thankful to have her just support me um, I would love to get out. One of the reasons you and I are on this show and what I wanted, Mike, so badly was to share with people that, you know, I have a lot of cuts, bangs, and bruises and scars on me, and inside and out. But I have a lot to offer, and I have a lot of things I would love to share, even if it's just through Zoom or through a short presentation. Feel free to reach out, and I don't really post much anymore, but I do read what comes in, and I'm enjoying a lot of my life because I am taking moments with individuals and really sharing parts of myself that they have come back to say, man, I wish, I wish I would have heard this earlier, or it really did save me from a lot of heartache by changing my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm forever grateful to be able to have those moments.
Mm-hmm. And grateful indeed as well, too, not just being a motivational speaker, but you also travel with Hand Combat for Football, also Voice of Strength, and numerous outreach programs. I mean, you travel all over and get involved with these groups. And if there's more you want to talk about, feel free to do so.
Well, the one thing I will share, as it's mentioned, and I'm sure a lot of people sort of let it pass by, but I put a lot of study into martial arts, a lot of study.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Different disciplines. Over the years, since in ninth grade. I mean, for many years, I've been studying how to fight for football. People think, well, for fighting in New York City, you protect yourself. It was always delivered by my mentor, Blaise Winter, out of New York. It was always delivered as an option to develop my athleticism. So I started, and I was embraced by many amazing senseis, most recently Arsenio Vicula out of Oceanside, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned how to move and deliver and avoid and deliver and gather through vision, distance, and timing a really understanding of what I'm able to do. So I share this expertise starting 25 years ago, and people would laugh at me. Literally, coaches and players would say, well, what do you teach your martial arts for? Because it is very important to your survival as a player, not only your ability to produce and stay employed, but your safety.
Mm-hmm.
And 25 years ago, I was laughed at as I was going down a road that was not football. And now almost every other person that thinks they're good at something tries to teach what I've been studying for 25 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud to be a master at that for football. I like taking players and coaches and teams and sharing these different techniques. I mean, for example, you'll never hear a coach say, focus on the heel and the hand to make contact first, because of the ability for that heel and the hand to penetrate the surface that is contacting. Now, that's a complex thought, and the players should be benefiting from that, but they're not being taught that specific bit of information. So I'm taking it to a very deep degree for the sake of making players more efficient and safer. So if there's anybody out there that has a son, has a coach, or is a coach, or a player at college or high school or pros, I was very excited about working last year with Robert Windsor out of Penn State, who's with the Colts. Last year, he made it to the active roster of the Colts. Robert Windsor's a great guy out of Fond du Lac. And he's one of those type of guys that, wants to get better. And I'm all about trying to share that, even to this day, through the good and bad days that I have. So I do thank you very much for letting me share all that.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love to have you back for sure. And if you want to get back on, just give me a shout, by text, phone, or Instagram, email, and all that. I'd be glad to have you back on. Once again, Blaise Winter, former defensive end, 11 seasons on the Mike Wagner Show, motivational speaker, very amazing guy, and big thank you for your time. And so glad we're connected. Looking forward to having you soon. And just a couple of things. What else can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Blaise?
Well, I'm going to continue to coach around with individuals and teams. I'll share my knowledge wherever I can. My inspiration, motivation is still there. I have a number of different procedures that I'm going through to hopefully make my mind stronger. I'm going to continue to hopefully find some time to travel with my wife and see some of the world that I haven't seen yet. And I'm also going to spend a lot of time, I hope, sitting in the front row watching my son, Blaise Winter, play some of the greatest music on the earth. He's a great musician out in Nashville who's really starting to set up tours all over the country.
Wow.
He's a rock and roll musician that he's been at it for many, many years. I gave him a guitar with mommy at 9 years old.
Wow.
And he never stopped. And he's played Summerfest. He's played in LA and New York. He's played in front of thousands of people, including 5 or 10 people. So I'm very proud of his determination and his efforts. And I'm hoping to spend some time watching and listening to him, rock and roll. Blaise Winter. Check
That's
him
so
out.
amazing. That's the name to look out for. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I think from a influential standpoint, off the field, my mother and my great grandmother. I think as a mentor that still to this day communicates with me. My last story. My mother handed me off when I went to ninth grade. In ninth grade, she handed me off to a man that she had been observing in the local gym and said, would you help my son? He wants to be a football player. And, I know you know something about that. So my mom introduced me to a man named Jose St. Victor. Jose St. Victor is a big black man. Now, we shouldn't even have to talk about the color, but it just sort of adds a little, visual. A big black man, yeah, buff. And he played at Syracuse. I never knew that until later on. Well, he took me under his wing. He taught me faith. He taught me more about family. He introduced me to martial arts. And I haven't missed a day since ninth grade, a day that I haven't communicated with him through prayer or actually by way of receiving his scripture said to me every morning. All right.
That's so amazing.
It was by way of letters, phone calls. I'm forever grateful to people like George O'Leary and Timmy and Billy and Jamie at Syracuse. And I'm missing so many. I am just missing so many. My wife, my rock, my dog, Paisley. Paisley, come here.
Hi, Paisley. Oh, you know what? I forgot you. We invite special guests on this well too, and let's say hello to everybody. Say hello to Paisley. Hi, Paisley. Hi. Hi. What's up? What breed is Paisley, by the way?
Paisley's a dog.
I was going to say, we have a dog named Molly who's 2 years old. She's a beagle boxer and just loves affection. If she tried to get on, she'd probably go through a screen trying to get Paisley.
Oh man, she's just amazing. She brings so much joy. You know how pets are. They're just empowering. They bring so much love and loyalty. And I'm a lucky man. I have a lot of good things going. I have a younger son that is working very hard to establish some direction in his life. And Donovan, I'm very proud of. I love my sons. I love my wife, and I'm a very blessed man to have a lot of wonderful friends and and people that pray for me each and every day. And I'm forever grateful. I really am.
That is so amazing. I mean, you're such a blessing, Blaise. I'll tell you that. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I think it's important to embrace adversity, and I think earn your keep. Earn your keep by hard work. Don't take handouts and expect you to develop to the degree that you should. You've got to face adversity. You have to press yourself to really to really reach full potential. And again, handouts or crying over difficulty is not the way we should go forward. You should be very, very thankful for the people that have had a hard time before you, so that you can mount up enough energy inside yourself to keep going forward. I didn't say fight your neighbors. I didn't say point at other people and blame them. I'm talking about embracing it and saying to yourself, what can I do better for myself, my family, for mankind, by the difficulty my ancestors went through what I've gone through. I mean, look at me, man. I was born with a hole in my face. I speak. People understand me. They feel me. They sense me. And I'm forever grateful and thankful for people understanding that, hey, man, you could do amazing things. All right. You don't need a handout to do those things. You can convince your worst critic to love you if you want. Stand outside that door. And I did that as a football player. Remember, Syracuse had no interest in me. And I had many football moments in the pros where they thought I was done, and I refused to go home. I told the coaches, hey, man, watch me. Blaise, it's getting late. You watch me, you coach me, you get me better. And tomorrow when we practice, I'll show you it wasn't a waste of time. I want to be one of those players for you. And I mean, if you just approach it that way and fight, I will, it becomes your creed. And I think a lot of positive things can happen. I do believe there will always be prejudice. There will always be somebody looking to blame somebody else and really discourage you and try to get you off track. You can't let that happen, man. I don't care if you're yellow, pink, black, or blue. You cannot let people stop you from going forward as an individual for your God and your family.
That is a very excellent point. Once again, Blaise Winter, former defensive end, 11 seasons on the Mike Widener Show. Blaise, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing and blazing as well, too. I love it. And, of course, looking forward to having you on soon. And you're welcome to come back anytime. Just give me a shout and whatsoever. Be glad to have you on. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people just purchase your book or just simply check you out?
Thanks, Mike, so much. And I look forward to talking to you down the road.
Okay. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, your website, and how do people reach out to you, especially for being a motivational speaker?
I don't do a lot of it. I mean, you can find me still at blaisewinter.com. It's real easy, BLAISE winter.com. Real easy to find it. You can find my email, blaise@blaisewinter.com, blaise@blaisewinter.com. I mean, it's really easy to reach out to me through social media, message me, hook on. I'm really easy to find. And if I'm around town, it's really not about gathering money anymore. It's really not about that. It's about gathering the type of support that will lead us peacefully into the future. And we need to work together. I try to share with coaches and athletes. They always think that, what do you want, $100,000 for your hour? No, man, I just want an opportunity to change your life. And if it means, hey, fill up the gas tank, then let's do it, man. Let's get this done, because there's a lot we could do to influence the people that are around us. So let's do this thing. Mm-hmm. So, hey, man, reach out in one of those ways, and I'll be more than glad to hook up with you and tell you a story or two.
Sounds good. You're welcome back anytime, Blaise. And a big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing and looking forward again soon. Do me a favor, keep us up to date, okay? We'll definitely be in touch. You've been absolutely terrific.
Thanks, Mike, very much. God bless you.